And we're back from commercial, and where are we? Lil Ralph? Man, what are you doing here?
Wait, Ernie Johnson? This is crazy.
It looks like we're in some kind of computer-generated basketball game.
Is that LeBron James? Hey, LeBron, what up, Playboy?
Oh, this is really happening.
How you feeling up there? Good? All right, let's try it again.
We're using cutting-edge technology, motion capture, traditional 2D animation, some of the craziest techniques that have actually had to be developed for this film.
We model creatures, we animate them. We have to simulate that procedurally, and that's usually where the effects department comes in.
Probably close to 2,000 shots in this show. We touched almost every shot in the movie, and the majority of this film takes place in this kind of virtual realm. And every single one of those shots was a visual effects shot.
I've literally just like been in awe of the whole process.
I have not done movies with animation and green screen and, you know, visual effects and motion capture characters. It's in a completely different world for me. It's incredibly complex, but they have assembled such a tremendous team there to, like, you know, guide me along. And I'm learning a lot.
Action!
Dad, I think we're digitized. We're in the computer.
We spend a lot of time in this serververse, so it was very important that we create something like super spectacular for it.
We work with computers all day long, so we can basically just open up the computers, look inside, you know, what's going on in there. So, and that's really what we did. We looked at main boards, we looked at computer chips, you know, transistors and semiconductors, how everything is connected. Tried to take those visuals and bring them into the LG world.
It's essentially like being inside of a computer, but at kind of like a quantum level.
We looked at, you know, what happens if a stream you watch breaks. What happens if the JPEG artifacts or the artifacts in an image we're always trying to avoid? How can we really bring them back, and how can we amplify them? So for that, we looked a lot at errors and glitches, things like that.
And then we used a similar design aesthetic for Algie and his abilities in this movie.
Look at your faces. You were terrified. Ah!
He was so in control of this world. He's kind of like the wizard. And so we created this HUD that had just millions of little switches and knobs and stuff that he could kind of play with.
It's definitely really fun to have a character like that in the film.
Turn up.
And I think it was a really, really fun opportunity to take characters and do something in Algie's world.
Lucky for us, we were working with Devin Crane, who's an amazing artist from the Warner Animation Group.
I think the thing we wanted to really do is actually have these tunes in a CG form that you instantly can recognize, but then also felt like that's so cool that they added, you know, hair, and they added, you know, we played with the textures, but nothing's really skin. It's like chalk textures mixed into skin textures. Everything had an artistic complexity.
It was about really how to take the Looney Tunes characters and their mood and transform that into the 3D character animation.
I look expensive.
And it's all based on kind of what ifs, right? Like, what if bugs had fur?
No! Whoa! What in the world?
You have a texture artist who starts working on colors and textures. And then you have a groomer, someone whose specialty is hand placing all of the hairs on a character.
We define where the hair is, how long it is, curly, straight, matted, wet, how it moves, animals and humans, aliens. If it has hair on it, we put hair on it. It's an interesting mix of sculpting and math. It's an artistic problem that has a technical solution.
Hey, what up, bud?
Watch the hair.
Gossamer was probably one of the most fun ones to do. It was also the last one we do because we were a little afraid of him because he had about 12 million hairs.
It's how they behave, how they stand, how they move, and then also making them feel real to each other, knowing that these aren't just CGI characters, like these things are real and they're living.
It was adamant that we stay very true to the nature of the Looney Tunes, the way they move, the squashy stretchiness of them, the exaggerated performance of them, and we wanted to bring that 2D aspect into a 3D world.
It's a fun process to try and get inside the characters' minds and make them act. You get to be an actor through art.
He goes, yeah, so it's like, and then
we needed a lot of cameras to kind of capture this motion. And when we built our mocap volume, it had to be quite large, you know, because Anthony Davis is 6'10". All of a sudden, our mocap truss had to conform to that. And it allowed us to capture all of their moves and allowed us to carry that into post.
To make the movie as fantastical as we needed and big as we needed, we wanted CGI because it also allows us to do things with the Goon Squad and the other NBA players.
On the Goon Squad, you have some of the hottest young players getting down to the science of what are their signature moves and translating that to 3D photoreal animated characters.
Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, Diana Taurasi, Damian Lillard, Mecca Agumake.
I keep forgetting about this camera.
We had performances that they gave on set, both in motion capture suits and audio performances, so we could listen to those, come up with ways to make them even more fantastical than they already are. And then we would take that away and I'd work with the animation team and come up with the best motion we could.
I'm really happy that my character is representative of me as a player and as a person, and I'm really excited.
Got it. I get to dunk on LeBron.
What? How'd that taste, King? Queen of the web.
The coolest thing about these goons and in this film is like just the rich textures, and because having them as CGI characters, you know, we have all these textures and complexities and effects and layers. Thing is just, you know, it's just pushed like 1,000 miles, I think, past any film I've worked on and have been part of.
As adults, sometimes we lose our imagination as we get older. So I'm trying to just bring that back into my life right now.
Flyest guy on the squad.
Dang, they do to my boy AD.
For an animator, it can take weeks just to do a few seconds. So it takes a big team of a lot of animators to create a whole movie of animation.
We had a crew in San Francisco and then also in Vancouver, Singapore, and Sydney. So we were working on over 1,200 shots, tune work all across the board, and effects work, so it was definitely a global effort.
Cut!
Check it. Some of the techniques that we've been using to make these characters has been, you know, truly phenomenal.
Every single artist come up with something new, and that was great.
Filmmaking, visual effects, it's kind of like basketball. It's definitely a team sport.